Is Karen Read really a glamorous girlfriend or a potential evil murderer? Is she telling the truth when she says she was drunk when she murdered her own beloved boyfriend? Or is it just a cover-up to avoid facing multiple charges? Let's find out.
From a very early juncture in this case, you will question the Commonwealth's theory of the case. You will question the quality of the Commonwealth's evidence. You will question the veracity of the Commonwealth's witnesses. And you will question their shoddy and biased investigation, a faulty investigation that led to Karen Read sitting here today.
Karen Read, a 43-year-old financial analyst and college professor from Mansfield with an estimated net worth of $1 to $2 million, was charged with killing her own boyfriend. But how did it all start? On January the 29th, 2022, she and her boyfriend, John Okeefe, a policeman with the Boston Police Department, were drinking at a bar with some other people who also reside in their homes. Karen's attorney claimed that after having a few drinks and spending some time together, Karen dropped her boyfriend off at one of his friends, Brian Albert's home in Canton, and then left for her home. But this story suddenly changed when officers were alerted about the dead body of John Okeefe lying in snow on the same date. All evidence shows that Karen's car, which she was driving herself, collided with him so hard that he bled heavily and died in the snow.
Boston police officer John Okeefe was found mortally injured on Brian Albert's front lawn. His body was in full view and almost right below Brian Albert's bedroom window on his front lawn. He was found wearing only one sneaker. You'll learn that Brian Albert was a Boston police officer as well, and that he was a trained first responder.
What's more astonishing is that John's attorney claims that many other events occurred prior to this incident. They claim that it's all a cover-up to protect Karen from prosecution and that John was beaten outside his home with a heavy rod or stick, bitten several times by a dog, and then left to die. Although Karen did not plead guilty to all these charges and accusations, the evidence turns the story on its head, revealing that, following a thorough investigation, someone else's phone records show writing on Google about how long to die in cold, which translates to how many hours it takes to die if you stay outside in the very cold weather. Karen's defense and prosecutors have repeatedly disagreed on the time when a witness used their cell phone to search how long to die in the cold. Her defense claimed that the search began at 2:30 a.m., hours before the body was discovered, but the prosecution stated in their new filing that 3 experts agree it was completed at around 6:23 a.m. after Okeefe was discovered. Prosecutors claimed and accused Karen that the couple had fought, leading to Karen running her car over John and letting him die in the snow. But on the other hand, defense teams claimed that John went inside Albert's home where he'd got into a fight with someone and got killed, then was dragged outside to die in the snow. These are still the accusations, and no one yet knows the truth. But what we do know is that the prosecution rejected John's lawyer's claims that he was bitten by a dog because no DNA was found on swabs taken from John's clothing in the area of his injuries.
You'll learn that Brian Albert was called to testify before the grand jury regarding this matter in April of 2022, and that he did testify about his German Shepherd, Chloe, during that grand jury testimony. And you'll learn that not long after that testimony, Brian Albert and his family rehomed their beloved family dog. They gave away their family dog, and Chloe, the German Shepherd, is therefore now gone.
Although Karen pleaded not guilty to all the accusations made on her, her legal team also argued that she was framed by people in Canton, Massachusetts' home as part of a top-to-bottom cover-up.
Karen Read was framed. Her car never struck John Okeefe. She did not cause his death. And that means that somebody else did. You will learn that it was no accident that John Okeefe was found dead on the front lawn of 34 Fairview Road in Canton on January 29th of 2022. You will learn that at that address lived a well-known and well-connected law enforcement family in Canton, the Alberts. Because the Alberts were involved, and because they had close connections to the investigators in this case, Karen Read was framed for a murder she did not commit.
Her lawyer also says the cops are trying to protect Albert because his family's been around Canton forever and has lots of connections. People around town back that up, saying the family's got a lot of strings to pull. Karen's lawyer also says the main investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, hid his own ties to Albert's family. Proctor, defended by a lawyer, and the state police says that's all nonsense and Proctor's still on duty.
And during that thorough search of Brian Albert's front lawn, the number of pieces of taillight that were found by a minimum of 4 officers looking for evidence was 0.
On the other hand, accusations that John was hit by Karen's car are still on board, as members of the Massachusetts State Police Special Emergency Response Team discovered a plastic and broken tailgate from Karen's SUV while digging in the snow. To make matters worse, the Massachusetts State Police Crime Laboratory discovered John's DNA on the broken taillight.
It was only later in the day, when the snow was really starting to accumulate, that the police miraculously started to find pieces of taillight on the property. The police only started to find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had seized Karen Read's car. They only started to find pieces of taillight after Michael Proctor had possession of her taillight.
Furthermore, the prosecutors discovered some of John's cell phone voicemails and text messages indicating relationship entanglement with one of his friends who was also present at the locations Read and Okeefe visited on the night of the incident. According to sources, John was ready to end the relationship, and Karen was unhappy, as well as evidenced by her screaming on some of the voicemails about hating him and accusing him of sexual activity with his other female friend. According to the defense team, the phone's search history and some voicemails were deleted. They provided an affidavit from a data forensics expert they hired outlining the findings and claimed that prosecutors were required to inform them that evidence in their possession had been altered, but did not. The lawyers asked in their statement, "Why did we have to find all this evidence? Why did the prosecution hide this bombshell exculpatory information?" However, we're still unsure about the accusations made against Karen of beating John with a rod or stick, but it was later discovered that John did sustain several injuries, including multiple skull fractures, a 2-inch laceration to the back of his head, 2 black eyes, and a cut to his nose. Recently, Karen's defense team accused the lead investigator for seizing her phone without a warrant and searching her device for nude photos, and was disappointed when he didn't find any. On top of that, they also claimed that the lead investigator sent a text to his friends about Karen, saying that he wished that she could kill herself. Even though the case is ongoing with trials in progress, Read got arrested on February 2nd, 2022. She's facing charges of second-degree murder, manslaughter while intoxicated, and hit and run causing injury and death. The truth behind this drama remains elusive. Did Karen truly commit the crime, or is there a larger scheme at play to pin the blame on her? Well, what are your thoughts? If you enjoyed this video and want to watch more fascinating topics like this, click on the video that's popping up on your screen. Until then, take care and goodbye.